So excited to bring on one of my favorite offensive line recruits in this class who could bring a little international flavor if he does end up picking Miami. We have Schmo himself with us, Moritz Schmoranzer, all the way from Germany, now in Virginia playing high school football. Mr. Schmo, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. I'm great.
And you are fresh off a University of Miami official visit.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure this recruiting stuff is a whirlwind for you, but how did your visit to Miami go, and what did you like most?
I mean, it was amazing. What I like most about it is just like the whole vibe about Miami.
Now, one thing Miami compared to like a lot of college football towns. I mean, it's such a big city, and there are
hmm
influences from South America, the Caribbean, Europe, and you having grown up in Germany. Does it
Yeah,
feel maybe a little bit more like what you were used to over there?
yeah. I can definitely see that the city of Miami is very diverse. Um, More than a lot of other college um campuses and towns. Yeah,
Miami also has the unique characteristic of the head coach being a former offensive lineman
yeah,
like yourself,
yeah.
and Mario Cristobal putting a big emphasis on the offensive line. So, what was your time with Coach Cristobal like?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I could definitely tell that he was a former offensive lineman. Um, and I like that he also coaches like in practice. I see tape and he's there watching the O-line and coaching them. I mean, with him, that makes like four coaches for the offensive line, and I like that.
And what about Alex Mirabal? What kind of time did you spend with him over the weekend?
I talked to him a lot. I mean, when I got out of the car, I mean, I saw pictures of him, and I mean, he doesn't look like the most normal offensive line coach. But I really enjoy talking to him because he's a very smart coach and he knows how to teach.
Now, it seemed like Miami really started pushing for you recently. How
Yeah.
did that contact start, and about how long ago was it you started to hear from Miami?
I mean, that was literally a week ago. I think it was
Wow.
Monday. I think Coach Mirabal followed me back on Twitter like Sunday evening, and then uh, we had a call on Monday, and he offered me there, and then we already set up the official visit on that call. So it was pretty quick.
That's really cool. And how did you feel? Did you get to spend much time with Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, and did you get a sense for how the offensive line fits in with his scheme?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him outside of football a lot about like just normal stuff, but also like he showed me how his offense works and what he does, and I really like that.
So I want to get into your story coming over from Europe in a moment because it's unique. It's the type of story you don't always hear about. But just as far as your characteristics as an offensive lineman, first, I always want to ask because sometimes the listings on recruiting services are not quite right.
hmm
What's your height and weight these days, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 6'4" and probably now up to 280, 282.
Big boy, and you're
Mm-hmm.
only getting bigger, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
when I was watching your huddle and some of your tape, it looks like you line up at right tackle. Do you
Yes,
see
sir.
yourself outside at the next level, or could there be an interior move? What do you think?
I mean, a lot of coaches are like, I want you to tackle because my feet are great and I'm fast. But other coaches are like, I can see you play inside as well. And I mean, at Miami, they practice on every side of the ball. And I mean, he told me that I could be a tackle for him, but I could also be inside and a center as well. So I mean, I don't really care where I
Okay.
play. I don't care because I mean, I'm pretty confident that I can play everywhere I can. They put me.
Tell me about your high school at North Cross School because I know being down here in South Florida, I know a lot of like the Florida and Georgia schools. I don't know much about that area of the country in Roanoke, Virginia. So, what's your high school like, and your days up there in Roanoke?
I mean, we're a pretty small private school. I think we have like 200 people, if not even less. But I would say we're one of the, if not the best school in the whole county or valley.
Oh, that's fantastic. And how did you end up there, right? Because it is it Nuremberg, Germany, if I got the city right.
Yeah.
How does a big kid from Nuremberg end up in Roanoke, Virginia? How did that process go?
Yeah, well, I'm like 30 minutes away from like Nuremberg, like in a little village, like a 1,000 people village. And I think like I just like started playing football, and then one day I got hit up by a recruiter from that organization, Grow Down Imports. Um, and he was like, I think high schools would be interested in you because of your size. Like I was like 6'3", 180, 185,
Wow.
and a receiver. I played receiver at
Wow.
that time, and I was like, I mean, at first I was like, who is that guy? Like, okay. And then he got me in contact with Chris Adamson, and then like the whole my head coach, he's very like my former head coach, he left now this year. He's in good contact with them, and they have basically like a system where you can just put in like receiver and then the class, and then everybody in Europe that's in their system pops up, and they can just like they see all the phone number, email, and all that to contact you. But my process for that started pretty like late in the year, so like I think we started in like March or June. So they only got me in contact with North Cross in Roanoke and one school in Texas, but they lost like every game like 50-0.
Oh, so you made the
So
right choice then.
yeah, I mean I didn't have a lot of options to choose
Yeah.
from, but it was definitely the right choice. Yeah.
So okay, how did you go? Was it just like a growth spurt when you went from 180 to 280? Did you come over and eat a lot of
Well,
American fast food, or how did that go?
well, it's just the American diet,
Yeah, I think so.
When I came over, I was still a receiver. Like my sophomore year, my first year, I was a receiver. Um, Played more outside linebacker at the end of the season, and I think I gained like 10 pounds in the first few weeks, just like that. And then at the end of the season, I was like 220, 225, and more of an edge rusher. And then I still played some receiver, but I was more of an linebacker. Then in that off season, when all that recruiting ramped up, my roommate who plays at Virginia Tech right now,
Hmm.
he got recruited by Wake Forest and Virginia Tech, and they like the coaches they came down to have like one of those private workouts with him, and I was just like his dummy holding the bag, and he just blocked me. And at the end of the workout, they were like, that's what a future Division 1 lineman looks like. And I
Wow.
was like, yeah, sure. Because all of my coaches, they were like talking about like, yeah, man, next year we're gonna have you at line because we don't have a lot of players. Like I think right
Hmm.
now we have 25 players returning on the roster, and I had to play both ways the this this past year, um, and start. But I mean, the coaches were always like telling me, you're gonna play line next year, and my head coach also told me he was like, if you want to play in college, you're gonna be a lineman. And at some point, I was like, I mean, all right, I guess gotta do what you gotta do. And then I gained weight, and I think I was like 240, 245 starting my junior season, and I was like 250 at the end of it, and now I'm 280.
That's amazing. Now, do you have with your recruitment now? Do you have a date or a time in mind when you might announce a verbal commit, or are you just still feeling out the process?
No, I'm probably. I mean, as Miami came in, that kind of messed it up a little bit because I was between West Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Pitt, and I was like, after the official visits, I'm gonna make my decision. But like, no, after the weekend, I'm still gonna take my official visit to Pitt next weekend, and then I'll probably make my decision after that.
That's great. So, you talked about Miami getting into the mix late, and do you feel like did your official visit to Miami, did it kind of change your thinking at all? I obviously I'm not, I don't know how far you are in your own mental process, but where do you feel Miami sits among the competition?
I mean, they're definitely up there. Definitely the top. But I mean, it all depends on how the next visit goes, and then
Sure.
after that, I'll definitely know where I want to go.
Sure, and obviously, I want the best for you. Selfishly, I'd love to see you at Miami, but I want you to make the decision that's best for you, for your
Yeah.
comfort, for your family, and all that. So I wish you the best of luck, Schmo. And if there's any message you want to send out there to the fans, if there's any obviously Miami fans watching, if any Pitt fans are tuning in, or Virginia Tech to see what you want to say, any message you want to send out there to the people who are following your recruitment.
I mean, I want to thank everybody that has recruited me so far. I mean, I got my first offer the 1st of February, and I mean, until then, I never really thought about playing Division 1 football, and it's just like so new to me. Because when I came here, I mean, I I had the plan of playing in college, but like not at this high level, and then just like this whole process going like so fast. Like I just want to like thank every coach and like everybody that supported me until where I am right now.
Well, that's wonderful, and God bless you, and I hope you make the decision that's right for you. Moritz, Schmoranzer, thank you so much for taking the time, and I think you got a lot of fans who watch the show, so best of luck, Mr. Schmo.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
Love it. We'll talk to you guys again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.